It's so easy to get into that cliche that I was talking about in my last vlog about how to introduce oneself. And so far, so good. I'm really proud that I actually have gone 3 vlogs now and not done the same very, very cliche introduction to the channel. Just... it's important to me because I think it really sets the tone for everything else that's going to happen. And to be honest, I'm also not editing these, and I don't have a script. Much of what is going to be recorded, much of what is going to be happening on this channel, it's not going to be perfect. I'll yawn, I'll laugh, I'll cry, I might fart, I might pass gas, whatever. I don't aim to do anything for effect, but I also don't plan on doing anything in terms of makeup, which I've hit it on my last vlog in terms of an introduction of myself, which continued from my first introduction, and talking about introductions in general, which, like I said, I covered in my last. But now, I'm basically wanting to do a vlog about editing, which ties in with some things that I mentioned before, too, which is, in life, many things happen, and, I stopped to think about why it is that I know the nature of sometimes vlogging and doing videos is more for a professional capacity. Someone wants to be an influencer. Someone wants to sell you something or display their talents or something like that. And those are all valid reasons. In my reluctance to do the editing isn't so much about a philosophy that I'm married to either. It's just, for me, it has to do with a lot of different things. It somewhat has to do with a limited ability to do some of the editing anyways. But at the same time, I don't know. I think there's something missing when you get so wrapped up in how it is you should be putting on your makeup. Less and instead of being more authentic, speaking from the heart, willing to make mistakes, not cover it up, not answer in a way that is anything other than what we all are, which is human. We all make mistakes. We all do different things. We all say things that maybe aren't correct and not always in the correct way. I think there are times that, though, as I've said before, that maybe it's appropriate to edit yourself, to have the restraints and confine yourself into a certain format or outline or something like that. But I think it's very important to also realize what is it that you really want to do. Right? For me, this channel is about hopefully being successful in a variety of different ways. But if I'm going to be successful, if I'm going to make this channel work, it isn't going to come from being inauthentic, if that's a term. Which, ironically, maybe is inauthentic. I really do try to search for the right words to articulate what I mean by what I feel, rather than trying to use bigger or more complicated words to be impressive. I'm not trying to do that. I swear to you. Like I said, I know that doing these are not going to be perfect. And I also know that in general, when you do vlogs or anyone does anything quite as self-serving as this probably is, and I don't necessarily mean it to be completely. That's some things kind of go with that. So for me, as I said before, I'm probably not going to ever be changing that overall approach to when I do these things, which hopefully consequently will actually force me, because I listen to these and I do care about what I'm saying, even if I'm the only person listening, even if I'm the only person that'll ever listen. I'd like to improve as I'm doing this, and I know practice can make perfect, but I think also learning to live with imperfections is also important, because I don't think anybody can ever be perfect. I think we can only ever do the best we can with what we have, and most of us will see what the end result of that will be. I mean, sometimes it'll be good, sometimes, at greater times, many times, it will be bad. And we all have a different set of circumstances that impact our lives, and we always, of course, search for the things that can improve and make our lives better. But at different times, many times, it's easy for things to get blurry or confusing, especially in more trying times and that in our lives. So, like I said, for me, editing isn't very important. And at the risk of being boring, at the risk of maybe not being popular or maybe not being whatever this, in terms of success, it may or may not be, I'm okay. To me, being a successful vlogger, a successful community, it isn't going to be about popularity. It's not going to be about money. And it's certainly not going to be about trying to fix the world's problems. And hopefully, if you're listening to this, you'll know that I obviously don't have all the answers. I don't want to be a place where I'm telling everybody what they should and should not do, right? I mean, there's certainly things that, I don't want, and there's certainly things that I do want, but the things that I do want, the things that I hope and aim for this community, they aren't going to have anything to do with what success looks like or feels like, in terms of what maybe is oftentimes put in front of everyone as far as being successful. I'd like to be successful with this, but my aim, the purpose, isn't to be number one. It isn't to be the biggest and the best. No, I would rather have human beings with ideas that we can all think about, that we do our best to articulate, and that we can come together with our common interest, our want to share when we do. And so, like I said, as far as editing, this is not the place for that. This is not a place for my vanity or anything that is going to be me pretending to be something that I'm not, because there is so much of that online nowadays, from Facebook to Twitter, Instagram, where people literally, they present their entire lives on social media as a way of doing many different things. Oftentimes it can be for clout, as it were, for money, trying to chase basically fame, and I bet fortune as well. And I don't necessarily have a problem with the fact that people do those things. That's okay, I suppose. Everyone has the right to do what they want to do, but I find it, as a personal thing, exhausting that there just doesn't ever really seem to be places where people can just be themselves. with warts and all, and not necessarily have to worry about what they're supposed to try to be for everyone else. Just maybe in that same vein, just also then to try to be the best that they can be for themselves. So for me, that's why editing isn't important, and I don't set any parameters or guidelines for anyone else that might be interested in, being a subscriber for me or a follower, or helping to come up with ideas for bringing together and putting together a community. That's, like I said, that's my purpose. That's my reason for being here. And so if I come here and I have to be something that I'm not, or my inauthentic self, I would say that in the years that it has taken me, and I've been around for a while, since the start of YouTube, basically, and before that, I've longed to do this. And I will say that of my many different failures, of my many different discouragements from doing this, I will say that part of the aims that I have now aren't really too dissimilar from then, but I will say that some of the lessons that I learned was that even despite what my aim is here to do, and even back then, I really didn't stick to it as well as I'd hoped that I would, because quite frankly, I got off on the wrong foot each and every time that I've tried to do this. And it's mostly because even though my aim was to be or do what I'm talking about now, which is not edit myself, be authentic, and create and build something, it's one thing to say, but actions can be quite different. And your intentions can be great. My intentions were, but they were for naught. And I have a tendency that if I fail, if I stumble, if I make mistakes, to overthink them. And then, of course, with whatever failures that I may meet or feel, I'll keep continuing to pile on and give myself excuses and reasons for not doing things. And it's not saying that they're not valid excuses and reasons to do things. It's just, I would say the thing that I'm learning the most in my life now, because I do have ADHD. I do have some deficits in terms of that as well. And, like I said, I really am not ashamed of those things. But they are circumstances that, like I said, maybe there's other people that struggle and do the same things. And people want to talk about that, they can. And so this community that I want to build on top of doing the vlogging and this channel, I think that's part of it, like I said. And so as I have chosen not to edit myself, I hope none listening, whoever might be listening, will do that either. I hope people are just their authentic selves. And it doesn't matter. It's not about being liked or not liked or any of those other things. It's about whether or not you truly want to be who you are, and not try to worry about what success means for everyone else. I mean, in building a community, there are certain concessions that one might automatically make on a personal level. But here, there aren't any real expectations in terms of that. Being who you are is fine. That doesn't mean that every place and everything and every time that's going to work out. And so you have to, or I think for me, I have to find that balance. And so that's what it means for me in terms of editing, and why I won't be doing that. So I'm making the last couple of videos have been close to the 15 minute mark. I don't think I'm gonna try to aim to be that long in my vlogs, but if they are, they are, I suppose, because I want to get what I have to say out, and that's what I'm doing. But as I do these, hopefully as I get better, I can keep them more concise. So yeah, that's it for me right now. This guy Voymonk is. I'm gonna wrap it up here. So thanks for listening if you have been, and hopefully you'll stay tuned.